Hello, hello, Dr. Brett Spradlin. We are at Divine Design Natural Health here in Cleveland, Tennessee.
Yes,
Aren't we? Is that where we are? Yes. And we are talking about tonight, part 5 of a series that we started back in 2020 called Lies Doctors Tell. We do this for 4 reasons. Here goes. Let's check this out. Because, I started back in February of 2014. And, oh, look at that. See? Isn't that great? Look at that. So let's go to that first slide there, Jonathan. So it started back in February of 2014. And basically, I've heard and recorded all these comments from part 1, 2, 3, and 4 from all of our patients, and just like yourselves. So we do this for a few reasons. This is not to make fun of people or not to poke fun at the medical field or whatever, although we probably need to. But we do this for 4 reasons. A, I want to document the lunacy of what your healthcare, in quotes, believes and what it has become as stated by varied medical professionals in various specialties. These beliefs are widespread in time and location. So over many years, this has happened over many years, and it's not just one geographical locus. It's not just Cleveland, Tennessee. You'll hear some of these same things from doctors across this nation and sometimes across the world, depending on where you're at. So it's very interesting because you'll notice some of these things. You'll go, wow, that's new. I've never heard a patient say that they were told this. You'll talk to another doctor in another part of the country and you'll say, hey, are any of your patients saying, have you ever heard this from a patient? And they'll say, yeah, man, I've actually, just a few months ago, I started hearing that for the first time. So you think, what's the natural question? You think, where are doctors learning to say this? Where are they learning to tell patients these words? It's just very interesting. B is to emphatically prove to you the inaccuracy of those statements as documented by thousands of recorded and written testimonials after our patients here recover and awaken to true biblical health care. So not only are those statements false in many cases, but you can prove that the absolute opposite is true, such as, oh, you're never going to have kids. C, to echo the sentiment of our patients, many of whom are medical professionals who would be reprimanded or persecuted openly for making these things known. They're in disbelief, just as you're going to be in disbelief by some of these as well. And then D, the last reason is to illustrate what your friends and family have been or will be told so as to prepare you to hear the same one of these days. So I can't tell you how many times we go through one of these and I'll see heads nodding in the crowd like, oh yeah, they told Uncle Bob that, or they told Aunt Sally this. Oh yeah, I've heard them. They told my mom that. They told my dad that. So let's get right into it. Lies doctors tell. We'll just do a quick recap. Part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, but we got to do some memes first. I forgot. We're going to do a commercial break right at the beginning to get everybody laughing. When they say trust the science, what they mean is don't ask questions. Isn't that great? Wow, yeah. I love it. Oh, this is a good one. You're going to love this one. Adding pharmaceutical drugs to a sick body to cure it is like adding poison to a polluted lake to clean it. Things that make you say, yep. We all have a choice. Well, we have chosen this since day one of all the nonsense. Over 2 years ago, what are we into? The 24, 26, 28 months going on this nonsense? And yeah, we've been here the whole time. Haven't changed a thing. And we're very blessed to be living in a place where, 20 miles down the road, a different county, and everything was different. Candace Owens just has a way of pointing things out, man. Life hack. If CNN, Big Tech, and Hollywood support something unequivocally, you can safely assume that you're being sold something rather than told something. So remember to pause and think critically, no matter how much something pulls at your heartstrings. The day that it went from the COVID's scamdemic to Ukraine, and people coming in asking me questions all day long. I said, I don't know if there's a war. I don't know if people are dying. I don't know what's going on. I'm not there. However, I do know this. Twitter, Facebook, Google, CBS, ABC, NBC, overnight, every politician and government, overnight, was like, let's stand with this one country. Overnight. I am instantly suspicious of that. That's all you need to know. Next. How many? Yep. Riding around in the back of an old Ford pickup truck on the highway, no less, and with no seatbelts. But now you got kids, seatbelt, bubble wrap, and a mask. This is where we're at. The three trends, you hear me say this in so many classes, the three trends that are happening in healthcare. Here they are. Ready? People are getting stupider, people are getting sicker, and people are getting more infertile. Widely, those are the three biggest trends in healthcare for like the last 75 years. Next. Here we go. Number 1, 2, this is the first 10. I'm not going to read them all, but it's like number 2 here. It's a safe drug as long as you're past the first trimester. You know how many people I've heard that from? Unbelievable. It's completely normal for your age. Oh, the good old standby, stay away from salt. Number 6. Number 9 is one of my favorites of all time. Your intestines are too long. That's one of those that you say, hey, I've never heard that one before. And then you talk to another doctor on the other side of the continent, and he tells you he's been hearing the same thing the last few years. Crazy. Sugar doesn't have any impact on your health. Great. Next. So we'll just go right through all of these. Nope, keep going. Number 11. So we get to number 11. People are healthier now compared to the past. Incorrect. How many of you know that that's incorrect? That is completely and totally incorrect. Your doctors will tell you this and say that vaccines and drugs are the reasons why. Stay out of the sun. Well, we know that's fake. You'll die without this medication. I don't know how many times you'll see it in shows. People will talk about, if people go to prison, how are they, or if they get separated from their family, or if there's a power outage, how are people going to obtain their life-saving medication? Name a life-saving medication. I've asked many nurses and doctors over the years. They can't name one. Implants are safe. Breast implants. You'll need to replace them. You'll never need to replace them. 50 years after you're dead, they'll dig up your body and they'll sit there. They'll still be there. I had a patient who was told that. Only a couple of years later, they started leaking, and she was having some problems. Or, well, actually, they weren't leaking with her, I don't think, but she was having problems, right? They're totally safe. You'll never need to replace them. Oh, she had to replace them. That was the thing, too. I think that was the one. She had to replace one of them. You have too much stomach acid, one of the biggest ones you'll ever hear. It's the most prolific, most ubiquitous of all of them, I think, is you have too much stomach acid. That's how they sell Zantac and Prilosec. They've lived a good long life. In other words, that's what Medicare, actually, tells people. Your condition's hereditary, yeah. Sure, come off your meds, no big deal. Your bladder's too small. That's one of my favorites, too. Number 21, your bladder is too small. I've heard that a number of times. Next. You have baby skin, you're in remission, the benefits outweigh the risks, let's manage your pain, we've done everything we can do. That is the one I hate the most. We've done everything we can do. You lie or you're stupid, because there are many things that you could do that you don't, doctor, because you are paid by an insurance company that will not pay for natural health. So there are many things that you could do, but you have not done everything, my friend. You have not. 32, if you're 2 inches shorter, insurance will cover your gastric bypass. Absolutely. How do they do this? Because your BMI numbers, your insurance is based upon whether it's an elective surgery or whether it's for your health. If your BMI is over a certain amount, what's your BMI? I'm glad you asked. It's a ratio between your height and your weight. So if the doctor says, lies doctors tell, this actually isn't a lie, actually, but it's just him telling the patient, hey, as it stands, your height and weight aren't as bad as they need to be in order to get your insurance to pay for it. If we fudge your height and make you a little shorter, therefore messing up the BMI ratio, make you look a little fatter on paper, your insurance will pay for it. So he's telling her the truth about how to tell a lie. See, so when you work for an insurance company, they force you to lie. Right? I've heard that I don't know how many times. If you're 2 inches shorter, insurance will cover your gastric bypass. That's how they screw the system. Next. Number 33, vestigial organ left over from evolution. That's how they get you with wisdom teeth. That's how they get you with the appendix. That's how they get you with gallbladder. That's how they get you with tonsils. Vestigial means worthless, non-functioning. They've been saying that for years. But, then medicine comes and finds out, oh, yeah, your tonsils have something to do with your immune system. Oh, yeah, we messed up. But you don't get your tonsils back, see? You'll be fine without it. We can stop the bleeding with a hysterectomy. The shot's safe and effective. You heard that plenty in the last... Follow the science. Your diet looks fine to me. Eat anything you want, said the overweight gastroenterologist with overweight staff sitting in his front desk. Your blood looks fine to me, blah, blah, blah. I hate this one. He might never walk or talk again. We need more imaging to be sure. We'll talk more about that. There's a million different ways that they present that to you. Next. I love 43. Look at 43. I love that one. Love that one. Love that one. Sleep apnea is deadly. We'll talk about that. I think we have one on sleep apnea tonight. It's time for your colonoscopy. That's a lie. You don't need a colonoscopy. Birth control pills, HPV, will not license your daughter for promiscuity. Oh, I love number 50. That's not possible. Why is that a lie? Think about it. That's not possible. Why is that a lie? Come on, anybody. Anything is possible, right? And for you to say, to have with absolute certainty, the statement that that's not possible would equate you with the intellect of God knowing all things, would it not? So if you just say, no, that's not possible. No, anything is possible. Could the drug react with your fetus? Could the drug react with your dinner? Could the drug react with another hormone that you're taking? Yeah. But so many times, that is the statement. No, that's not possible. No. The heart attack and the stroke, it can't be related to the vaccine. Can't. That's just impossible. They don't know all things. They like to think they do, but they don't. Blood thinners, nausea meds, whatever, they won't harm your fetus. They're fine during pregnancy. We've heard that a number of times. Nothing but time that can help this. That's a lie, too. Go back to we've done everything we can. Next. We'll schedule your surgery, keep taking your drugs, but stop all your supplements. I love that one. That's on the paperwork before you go into the surgical center. They say, come and here's all your paperwork for the day of the arrival and all this. And it says, hey, you have to take all your drugs, but if you're taking any supplements, stop the supplements immediately. All right? Now, most of the time, they're talking about store-bought, isolated, mega-dose nutraceutical supplements, but, they're still saying take your drugs, continue with the poison. We don't want you to have we don't want the bad reactions to stop working. It's normal to leak urine after childbirth. Kegels won't help. I've heard that a number of times. Time for your mammogram. Your diabetes is not bad enough yet for a drug. I've heard that one a lot. Or just insert whatever disease. It's not bad enough yet. We don't need to put you on a drug yet. We'll keep monitoring it, and we'll see where you're at in 6 months. What's that do? 2 things. Huh? Gets you back to the office. It does 2 things. It's not bad enough yet for a drug, so it's setting them up already to think, oh, well, yeah, I just got to get a drug for this. Second thing, it's allowing them to do nothing. No change, nothing functional ahead of time for them to change. No, you just let them get to the point where now it's pathological. Kids don't get fevers when they're teething. You know what? Yeah, they do. Next. Okay, so we're getting into the baby's allergic to its mother. Oh, I love this one too. Now that you're 65, you need to come in every 3 months because things are going to start happening to you. What are they saying right there without saying it? We're gonna what policy? What are we going after? Murder care. We're going after the murder care money. That's what they're saying. Well, now that you're 65, you're just the wheels are gonna come off the bus and go round and round now. That's what they're saying. We don't know what's wrong. Your child's got to be allergic to breast milk. Or my next favorite is the baby's allergic to its mother. I love this one. Your internal thermostat's broken. Have you ever heard of anyone who ever heard that? No? I know you have. Your internal thermostat's broken. Come on now. Really? Don't drink water, drink Gatorade. No. Love that one. You need electrolytes. What's electrolytes? Sugar. Yeah. Sugar and salt. That's what that is. But people fall for it, and they pay $5 a bottle for Gatorade at a convenience store, and then tell me that eating healthy is too expensive. It's crazy. I love this one. If you've been dealing with it for 2 years, it's probably nothing serious. I love it. Oh, some of these are great. This was a new one. Just a few. I don't think. Yeah, we haven't gotten to the new ones yet. But this was one from July 20th. But this one stunned me. I'd never heard this. I had never heard this. We're getting up to the new ones here. When you took out your gallbladder during your gastric bypass, your mother also had her gallbladder removed. Your problem's genetic. So they went in to tie off their stomach, and while they were in there, they took out a gallbladder. Just perchance, preventatively. I mean, could you do that and get away with it anywhere else?
Sounds like they nipped it or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they just accidentally slice the gallbladder and say, well, it's a vestigial organ left over from evolution from 4.6 billion years ago when lightning hit a mud puddle. Let's just take that out. Next. Number 69, where are we at? Oh, yes, the boy in the bubble. Your child was born without an immune system. Yep, I've heard that one a few times. Swelling at the site of injection is perfectly normal. Yep, we need to do ultrasound to check for any birth defects. Yep. See how they get you with that one? So we're going to radiate your kid with a bunch of ultrasonic sound waves. That's ultrasound waves, right? We're going to check for birth defects. I wonder what that's going to cause. Are there any studies on what that's going to cause? Nope. Has been around for 60, 70 years? Yep. I think we did that. We talked about more details on that in the birthing class, beauty birthing biopsies, and I think we talked about it in the pregnancy class too, I think. If you want to know more about ultrasound and how to get around them, we talked about it. Oh, yeah, this is where we left off, yeah. Yep, I remember this one. This is what they told my family with my dad. The mistake families make is to feed their dying loved ones. It only makes it harder for the body to shut down. So you know what they were wanting my dad to eat? Jell-O and applesauce. What are the chances of his body rebuilding with Jell-O and applesauce? Right. Is their purpose to keep them around longer or to get them to go faster? Get rid of them. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can tell by that statement. I wrote it down. And then I've asked people, who work in and near and around hospice, I mean, have you heard this? Is this what they tell people? And they say, well, it sounds about right. Okay, so anyway, that's where we left off in December 2020. Let's go into a commercial break. You ready, Lauren? Fabulous. And then we'll get right to the new stuff. But that's a quick review of the last part 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you want to, we'll talk about it in a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. So this patient said, I've been seeing my medical doctor for 20 plus years and actually got worse, not better. Shocker, right? After 6 months at Divine Design, I have lost significant weight and my labs are perfect. Was my medical doctor happy? Absolutely not. She feels I'm being reckless and strongly encourages me to be compliant and take medications I do not need anymore. Foolish talk and definitely not for me.
Wow.
She got out of that one.
Non-compliance. But soon, at some point, the medical doctors are going to be turning you into your insurance companies for not being compliant and you're not taking your drugs. And then, at some point, medical doctors are going to have to bow down to the trans agenda. And if they don't, their licenses are going to be gone. I mean, that's eventually. Once they change it in the textbooks, which might take another year, once they put the men with wombs in the textbooks, it's coming. It's coming. And the doctors will have to bow down to it and go along with it, or their license will go away. If you don't accept and, bend over to the whole trans agenda with genital mutilation and, gender reassignment surgery for kids, you'll be ostracized. So anyway, we just went through the last 4, part 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you want to know how to answer and the lunacy behind some of those questions or some of those statements that we had, you can go back and watch. How do you answer those? Why are they saying that? And, what's the truth behind some of those? They're all in the previous classes. We have a lot of people that watch a lot of the classes nowadays. So here we go. Rod Serling, Twilight Zone. This might be one of my favorite memes ever. Imagine, if you will, being a woman, but being unable to explain how you know you are one.
Wow.
That's a good one. Man, that's good. Okay, I don't know who this is, but hey, I'd rather be vaccine hesitant than vaccine injured. Yeah, you can't undo this one, folks. No getting that out of your DNA. Nope. Next. When one of my friends finally looks into one of my conspiracy theories, it's down the rabbit hole. You're just looking down the hole going, I told you so, man. Just trying to help you out. Next. Normal isn't coming back, or evolution is. You know that, right? Does everybody know that? Yep. Next. My goodness. If this doesn't spell it out. Have you guys noticed these lately in a big way? Notice how we're like almost all the way through April and we've had crap weather for 4 months. If you haven't noticed by now, they really do not care about your health. It is not about your health at all. Okay. All right. So let's get right into the new stuff. This one, I just want to have a moment of silence. You know, it's silent acid reflux. It sneaks up on you at night. You don't even see it coming. It just creeps up on you. It's silent. And when it gets right up behind you, it goes gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. Because it's that silent acid reflux. I don't know. It's stealth. It's stealthy. Yeah. I didn't even know what to say to that. Because you could put it, hey, it's probably silent diarrhea. I mean, fill in the name of the disease. It's probably silent constipation. It's probably silent, cancer. It's probably silent. Think about it. I have no words for it, so it makes me silence. It makes me exhibit silence. This one, number 74. Your infant has low iron. What's the problem with this one? There's a few problems with it. First of all, how did the infant get low iron? Who would be to blame? Say it louder.
The mother.
Why would the mother be to blame? She was feeding the baby via her diet, via her blood, right? So if the baby did have low iron, see, this is another plea to get an injection of chemically derived, megadose, isolated nutraceutical iron into that baby's body via a needle to create other things down the road. However, even if it did have iron problems, probably should have been talking to mom before conception, or at least during gestation, in the very least, or at least leading up to birth, right? But the whole purpose of this statement here is to get a snake's fang into that kid's blood. The whole purpose of this also is to either blame the mother or to blame God, which your medical system does not believe in. And now either one of those things. Used to not just believe in God, now they don't believe in mothers at all. So your infant has low iron. That is a shaded, jaded, evil statement that is assuming that that child's body was born deficient. That's what they're saying. They want a snake fang in that kid's blood. 75. You've been scheduled for your wellness exam. Now, this is funny because I've had patients bring me or show me that they receive emails that they've been scheduled for their yearly exams, but they never scheduled those appointments at all. So how many people get their email and go, you've been scheduled for your wellness exam? Well, shoot, that's next Thursday at 5 o'clock. Hey, honey, I've got to be at the thing at the medical center next Thursday at 5 o'clock. Okay. You go in, you get your wellness exam. What do? Take your blood pressure or blood, just take your blood, right? Which is a whole separate story. Take your blood pressure so that they can label your heartbeat a disease, make you scared, take your cholesterol, take whatever, take your weight and make you feel bad about that. And then your wellness exam becomes a diagnosis and it becomes a prescription party. So it's just interesting because I've had patients show me these emails. It's crazy. They didn't schedule them. They just show up. 76. I love this one. What's the problem with this one? Your kids can't do breast milk. So just do chocolate milk, Pediasure, and candy bars.
Gee.
Your kids can't do breast milk. Lie. Show me a kid that can't do breast milk. I guess it's possible. They're allergic to the mother. You saw that one previously. The kid's allergic to the mother. Okay, well, how'd the kid get here? Yeah, right? But this is literally somebody, I know somebody very closely. She told me this. Your kids can't do breast milk. The pediatrician said this. And this is the same pediatrician, I believe it's the same pediatrician, who had prescribed the mother Zofran for nausea during pregnancy. Zofran, yes. So your kids can't do breast milk, so just do chocolate milk. Pediasure, made by Abbott Labs, same company that makes Pedialyte and Ensure. So that's what Pediasure is. It's just a bunch of chemicals, dyes, and isolated nutraceutical megadosed synthetic vitamins that cancer patients drink and in nursing homes. Number 77. If you don't get that gallstone removed, it could cause cancer. This was told to a patient who actually had she got the gallstone removed. It was a $50,000 surgery. And then she came out of surgery and still had the same pain. Do you get your $50,000 back? I've never heard of that. I don't think so. I really don't think so, right? But yeah, 50 grand, she still had the same pain post-surgery. Okay, here's a good one here. Now, this isn't really a lie, but there's a story behind this. So I'm from Michigan, in smack middle of the mitten, right here, the southern Michigan, south central, southwestern Michigan, I guess you'd say. So I went to school at Western Michigan University, Kalamazoo, Michigan. Kalamazoo, Michigan, there's right on Gull Road, right outside of the main strip of downtown Kalamazoo, there's what used to be called the Upjohn Pharmacia, is what it was. You know what I'm talking about. So Upjohn was a famous doctor back in the day. Anyway, I'll just tell you this. I'll just tell you the story. So this guy I know, he's a chiropractor. He's an old vet. He's a good guy. He knows a lot of stuff. Anyway, I was hanging out with him one day, and he said that Upjohn once told this guy's dad these words. Upjohn. He said, "Young man, drugs are for sale, not to be taken." What's he saying right there? And he told me this, where he leans across the table and he goes, "Did you get, like," he said, "I remember this like it was yesterday. My dad told me this, that Upjohn was saying this to his dad." He says, "In other words, if you're going to be an MD, don't take the drugs, only sell them." That's what that's saying. And this guy's dad worked for Upjohn, and Upjohn was actually, I did not know, Upjohn was an actual naturopathic doctor. He was not a medical doctor. Yeah, so Upjohn and Pharmacia merged and were bought by, I'm not sure how it all went down because back then I didn't even know, but Pfizer now owns all of that. And the world headquarters for Pfizer is in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Portage, Michigan. And I used to drive past it all the time. And you know what was there the last time I drove past it? Interesting. The Pfizer headquarters had a rainbow flag flying outside of it. I thought that was so interesting. Out of all the things that they could get behind, no pun intended. But anyway, I thought that was funny. Young man, drugs are for sale. They're not to be taken. That's not a lie, actually, but it's a funny story. Number 79. When a mother questions, this is what she's told. When a mother questions, "Why is my 4-year-old getting the same size dose of whatever it is, antibiotics, vaccines, whatever, fill in the blank?" Yeah, your 1-year-old gets the same dose. It's perfectly fine. I've heard how many mothers, this is one of the first things that a mom sees where they go, "That's not right." That's one of the first things. Number 80. Oh, I love this one. The drugs are finally working. So this goes many different directions here. People start getting better here. They come in. They've already been ravaged by the death care system for decades. They're missing a bunch of organs. They're on a bunch of drugs. You know the story. You know the thing. The thing, man. The thing. Anyway, then they come here. They start getting better. Then they go back to their doctor. I don't know why, but probably just to milk their insurance one last time. They go back to their doctor, and their doctor says, "Well, your labs are looking good. This is the best I've ever seen your blood look, and you're doing great. Oh my gosh, yeah, the drugs are finally working." And then they say to the doctor, what? I haven't been taking them. Then the doctor gets pissed and throws stuff in the air and tells them to get out. That's how it usually goes down. The drugs are finally working in this case. It's hilarious because there was a rheumatoid arthritis patient that she'd been on methotrexate for like 9 years. And methotrexate, if you know anything about methotrexate, you ought to look it up. It is it's evil. Oh, God, it's evil. But she'd been on methotrexate her hands were ulnar deviated. She picked up stuff. She was a hairdresser. She was a sweetheart. But she was getting to the point where she couldn't pick her shoulders up, couldn't bring her arms up to like cut people's hair behind. So she was at that point where she's like, "I got to do something." And within a few short weeks, we changed her diet, we got her off the sugar. It was miraculous because her ulnar deviation in her hands started straightening out and her joints started remodeling. These big blown up metacarpal phalangeal joint, the MCP joints right here, were all just caked and looked like she'd been in a bar room knockdown. Well, over a couple of months, she got miraculously better. So she got better within about 3 months. Like her hands started looking normal. Goes back to her rheumatologist, a specialist dealing with joints, dealing with rheumatoid arthritis, rheumatologist, right? He said, took her labs, same thing, looked at all her stuff, said, this is the best I've ever seen you. The drugs are finally working. What'd she say to him? She didn't tell him. She didn't want the conflict. Wow. Some people do, some people don't. Number 81. This is a new one. Brand new to me. Have you ever heard of this? Has anyone in this room, medical people, has anybody ever heard of this? Navy nurse told me this. They'd never heard of it. I'd never heard of it. But that's what some people they know were told. For the reason for their gallbladder to be operated on or removed or cut up or whatever. Polyps in your gallbladder. I've never heard of it. And no one in this room's ever heard of that? Crazy, isn't it? Yeah, I mean. Oh, same person told me that one. A Navy nurse told me that one. That the doctors told the patients, your gallbladder, told multiple patients, your gallbladder's got to come out because the water in eastern Tennessee is so bad. Unbelievable. Now, oh yeah, here's a good one too. And remember, what's the first thing we teach people when they come in here? Change your water. And yeah, there's snake venom and fluoride and chlorine and all the other crap and the rust and the lead and the, whatever else is in it. You have to filter your water. Your body's 80% water. You have to filter your water. If you're not filtering your water, don't distill your water, filter your water. A Brita does not count, okay? You have to change your water. You can get rid of depression and memory problems and, forgetfulness, all kinds of stuff. Change your water. 83. This is standard operating procedure. This is it. Like you have to be, this is why I've been telling people for years, even with the COVID hoax, I've been telling people, you do not want to be sick and maimed when all of the crap hits the fan. You do not want to be dependent on this system because eventually, and we saw it, they're going to be shoving a swab up your nose or whatever other orifice by that point they deem necessary. They're going to be shoving a swab in you. They're going to be making you take a shot. They're going to be making you get your forehead scanned before you go get your teeth cleaned. I mean, it's coming to that point at some point, and it came to that point there for a little while. But when you go in for a surgery, they are going to absolutely have you on certain medications and you're going to be aware of it, and you're going to have to bow down to it, or they're not going to do it. So I've been telling people, get out of this system. This was another breast explant patient, not an implant patient, but an explant patient. Some people, there's breast implant illness that people need to be aware of. It causes big problems for people. They were forbidden to have surgery until put on blood pressure meds. They asked if she had a primary care physician. She said yes. They said, does your primary care physician prescribe drugs? And she said no. So because a lot of primary care people have chiropractors, naturopaths, homeopaths as their primary care doctors. So they ask, I found that interesting, does he prescribe meds? And she said no. So she said they refused to do anything in surgery due to her blood pressure. So she found it ironic that they're going to put more poisons are going to be required before massive surgery due to they have this incessant fear of, oh, your blood might, your heart might explode and your blood vessels might, freak out. So we got to put you on poisons too. Is it for her health or for their CYA? It's their CYA. That's what it is. So you don't die on their table. That's really what it is. Number 84. Yeah, I love this. If you don't use a CPAP, you could suffocate in your sleep. How many of you heard this? What's a CPAP? It's a breathing machine, get this, that plugs into the AC outlet. So what happens if the electricity goes down, right? So you're dependent on a machine, right? Plus, so this thing's breathing for you. So you have a mask, a plastic mask, made in what country? On your face, sucking this crap all night long. You're dependent on this. You can't go camping. You can't cuddle with your wife. You can't you go to a hotel, you go on vacation, you're taking this little thing and the mask with you. Everybody knows people who are on these devices. Every one of you in this room knows somebody who has one of these, right? Have you ever heard of anybody suffocating in their sleep because their body forgot to breathe while they were asleep? Anyone in this room, have you ever heard of it? But that's what they're told. That's what they're told. Years ago, there was I believe it was Reggie White. I believe he was Philadelphia Eagles. He played football. And they propagated that he died in his sleep. And that was the CPAP thing. That was when everybody was like, oh, everybody's got to do a CPAP because it was sleep apnea in here. Or not sleep apnea. Or yeah, sleep apnea. And he passed out in his sleep, and his body, he just died. He suffocated. Because your body is so stupid that while you're sleeping, it'll just forget to breathe. Right? Never happened. I've never heard of it. I've never seen it. I had it's very interesting because I was just in a room with somebody who was coming off of a CPAP machine for the first time, and he was saying, he'd been here for a long time, and he was saying, yeah, I could never go camping, and I could never cuddle with my wife because I've got this Darth Vader thing on my face. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd never actually thought about that. You can't like roll over, and you can't go camping in a tent, unless you've got a generator. So I was talking to him, saying, well, man, I'm glad that you need to bring your CPAP and you can get it down here, and we'll take it out in the back parking lot, and I'll take a sledgehammer to it, and we'll party, and we'll throw down. We'll have a good time. So I walked him up to the front, said goodbye and everything. I was just so happy for him. Came back into the room, the next person, and I look on the table. She's a respiratory therapist. I said, I have a question for you. What do you know about sleep apnea? And she rolls over from the table. She looks up and she goes, what do you want to know about sleep apnea? And I said, well, tell me the truth. Tell me, have you ever heard of anybody dying from sleep apnea? You're a respiratory therapist. This is what you do 99.9% of your time, right? And she said, yeah. I said, have you ever heard of anybody dying from it? Nope. What do you know about it? She said, well, I know they used to call it obstructive sleep apnea, but they dropped that word. And I said, why'd they drop that word? And she said, well, I guess it's because the only thing that's obstructive in sleep apnea is if you have too much weight. So they didn't want it to be obstructive sleep apnea. Now they just call it sleep. Remember that word used to be there. We all used to say, oh, it's obstructive sleep apnea. But no, they took that word out, called it sleep apnea. So now people are just afraid of their heartbeat if they've got high blood pressure. They're afraid of their blood sugar if they ate a candy bar. And now they're afraid of going to sleep because they might die and choke on their tongue and pull a Jimi Hendrix. Right? So it's the perfect way to get you hooked up to a machine. Coming down the pike of transhumanism, here it is again. They've been doing this for decades. They tell you this lie. They get you hooked up to a Darth Vader. You can't cuddle with your wife. You can't go anywhere. You're tied to a machine. But here's the deal. She said, I've never heard of anybody dying from it. And that's what she did for a living. It's crazy. Unbelievable, right? And she said about 99% of the time, in my experience, it's been due to obesity or some other pre-existing condition, hence the name obstructive sleep apnea. She said other changes need to be made before putting people on a CPAP for the rest of their life. That's what she said. All right, number 85. So people see what I mean? If you go back to those first four things, why are we doing this? Because your family members, your friends, your dads, your grandpas are all being told this malarkey. Number 85. Yep, love that one. Now I'll go back to 85. They cause kidney stones and will make them worse. So don't eat dark greens. If you have kidney stones, I've heard a number of people being told this. So go ahead and take this drug, toxic chemical poison created by an atheist in a laboratory who hates your God. But yeah, get rid of those dark greens. Those plants that come out of the earth, the same earth that you came out of. Yeah, we can't have that. But just take this drug. Brilliant, isn't it? I've heard that I don't know how many times. And then number 86, check this one out, and then we'll take a little commercial break. Your elderly mother is so ravaged by dementia, she can't tell us which drug she's taking. The patient who told me this, it was two sisters. They said, yeah, we took my mom to the doctor. I don't know why. Took my mom to the doctor, and nurse 1 was telling nurse 2, she almost came unglued. This patient almost came unglued on the nurses. Because nurse A was telling nurse B, that elderly woman over there, she's so ravaged with dementia, she doesn't even know what drug she's on. And she heard her oversaying it from nurse A to nurse B. She almost came unglued. Punchline, she wasn't taking any drugs. They just expect, if you're a certain age, if you're on Medicare age, murder care age, they expect you to have an Excel spreadsheet. And they really, really love laminated nice cardstock for your drug list. They really do. I don't know why that is. You ready for a commercial break, Lauren? Yes. Fabulous. Let's do it.
Okay, so this patient said, I've been seeing a nurse practitioner for years to monitor my blood levels on warfarin for a blood clotting disorder. Today I went for a 4-week check and my numbers were very low. The doctor told me to stop putting those vegetables in my shake and he would have to give me injections instead. I know these injections are very expensive, so I told him I don't want any injections and that I want my vegetables. Now I'm awakened and overwhelmed to see that my doctor recommended drugs over vegetables. Now I'm choosing to trust the Lord and divine design to help me be healthy. Wow. So always those dang vegetables killing people, you know?
And we didn't even plan that because that's how it works out when you pray about things. Hey, Lord, help us to put this together. We were just talking about that. That's one of my least favorite. Put away those dark green, get rid of the vegetables, and just take this pill. But so many people get tricked by it. I guarantee you've got people in your family being deceived by that nonsense. Okay. Attention! Another wave of fraud coming soon. She's holding the CPAP. Look at that. No, pretty soon you're going to have people hooked up on CPAPs, walking around, dragging their CPAP behind them because they're afraid to breathe in real air. That's nuts. I'll just let you read that. It's right in front of our face. All day, every day, God created it right in front of our face, and we've been tricked to think that that's a weed, and we're going to use poison to kill the weed that would actually fix the problem that the poison started in the first place. God. Oh, it's genius. It almost makes you a little pissed that it's so genius. It's crazy, isn't it? Injected with mystery serum, you are. Vaccinated, you are not. Oh, if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll get that. Oh, yeah. Censorship is the tool used when the lie loses its power. Totally. Uh-huh. This up here says, I obeyed all your restrictions. What's next? That might be one of my favorites of all time, too. Yeah, go back to that. Let's just appreciate. Look at the mouse. He's petting the frog. Oh, poor little guy. Didn't even see it coming. God, that's good. Memes are a brand new art form. If you're not into them, you're missing out. I'm telling you. There's some that have just changed your life. You'll sit around, you'll laugh at one little picture, and you'll just go, oh, yeah. It'll bring back memories from your childhood. It's just hilarious. Next. I don't know who this guy is, but you know what? I'm in. The best investment that you could ever make is into your own body. Pinch pennies elsewhere, people. Spend lavishly on your own health and fitness. I could not tell you how many people stick money in their car, their kids, college fund. Oh, God, college fund. That's an oxymoron. How many people spend money on their house and their laundry and their food and their, crappy food without ever thinking that the best investment you could ever make is in your own body? People all the time, they say, well, I just can't afford natural health. Well, yeah, but you go down to, you have 6 specialists, you go to 4 different pharmacies, you spend your whole week checking out of work so you can go to doctors. How about this? How about we get you better? Your mentality picks up, your physicality gets better, you're not in pain all the time, you can be more productive, you can get more done at your work, you can earn bonuses at your job. Heck, stay-at-home moms, you can get a second job. I've seen that half a dozen, more. I've seen that dozens of times where a woman comes in, she has no job, she feels like hell, she can't do anything. She comes in, she gets better. All of a sudden, she's working, and then she's like on fire, making so much money, then she gets a second job. And guess what? It all came from this. Spend on your health and your fitness. Take care of your body. You can't drive that car or live in that fancy house if you're dead. And you're not going to enjoy it if you're in a hospital bed. Next. Okay, so here goes. Oh, I love this one. Yes. Somebody told me this. I'm not sure if she worked for a dentist. I'm not sure. But if you have 2 teeth to extract, I can't remember who this is. If you have 2 teeth to extract, insurance will pay. If you only get 1 extracted, you have to pay. I believe it. And I don't know, I've got so many people that have worked for insurance companies and billers and people who, I can't remember who this was, but I'll tell you what, like one of the biggest frauds out there is getting your wisdom teeth out. It's nuts. And people do this every day, all the time. It's crazy. That's another vestigial organ left over from 4.6 billion years of evolution. But yeah, I found this crazy. If you have two to take out, they'll pay. Oh yeah, I love when people tell me this. Yeah, I had cancer. The conversation goes like this, and this isn't making fun of people. This is just what we hear. I'm totally healthy. Oh yeah, well I see here on your paperwork that it says that you had cancer 2 years ago, and you've had headaches since you were, 10 years old. Weird period stuff, and you've had all kinds of accidents and surgeries, and you had 3 kids and 3 C-sections. Yeah, I'm perfectly healthy. Okay, well, what about the tumor that you had 2 years ago? Oh, yeah, they got the whole thing. So it's okay, because they got the whole tumor. Every microscopic, submolecular sniff, atom, molecule, element of that tumor, I can assure you they did not get with a knife or radiation. I can assure you that's a lie. I don't tell them that, but think about the lunacy of that statement. Next. It's crazy. And this goes hand in hand with chemical therapy and radiation are your only hope. I think my uncle told me that one just recently. He had a little bladder thing going on, and they're telling him, oh, it's cancer, cancer, cancer. Chemotherapy, radiation, that's the only way you can go. He said, I've known too many people that did the radiation and the chemo thing, and that didn't turn out too well for them. Pretty observant, pretty observational, pretty wise fella. What are the 2 things? Come on, class. Everybody knows this one. What are the 2 things that cause cancer? If you remember from the cancer class? 2 things? 2 things that cause cancer are what? Chemicals. And radiation. But in the United States, your options for treatment are chemotherapy, because they don't call it chemical therapy because people would get it. It's chemotherapy. If you want it to be chic and trendy, call it chemo. And then radiation. Those are your options. And they call me the quack. Bring it. Bring it. Number 90. Are we at 90 already? Oh, we need imaging. Of course we do. Whatever the condition is, whatever it is, whatever you do, if you've got a bump or whatever, well, what's the first thing that happens? Anybody? X-rays. Ionizing radiation through your body, right? What's the next thing that happens? If they didn't see anything on an X-ray, what are they going to do? They're going to do a CT scan or an MRI, in which case, what are they going to inject into you before? Dye. What kind of dye? Radioactive dye. How's that going to work in your body? Oh, I don't know. Let's just think, hell, you're signing up for an experimental injection. Who cares? Get a radioactive isotope jacked into your veins. No big deal. I mean, I'm sure that'll go together well too, right? But so you got all these imaging centers all over. There's 2 or 3 Doc in the Boxes right down the street here that do on-site X-ray, digital X-ray on-site, and they've got big signs outside lit up. And that place, it's wrapped around 3 times, in the morning, I swear. Every time I drive by, there's like 3 lines of people standing outside that place. It almost looks like a Chick-fil-A drive-through. It's crazy. But they do all this imaging, right? Why? Imaging is for 2 things. What are the 2 things? If you remember this, always, this will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Ready? Imaging is for what? 2 things. What?
Drugs or surgery.
No? You fell for it. You fell for it. No. Imaging is for traumas and tumors. Period. Drop the mic, walk off stage, exit stage left. That is it. If you had a trauma, if you fell, if you hurt something, if you fell off a ladder, should we shoot an X-ray? See if you got a broken bone? Perhaps. But you've got the trauma as a mechanism of injury, right? So chances are there might be a hairline fracture, there might be a bone that broken, something like that, if it's not sticking out of the skin. If you have symptoms such as, say, unexpected weight loss, bleeding in your stool, pain down the legs, Cauda-Equina syndrome, stuff like this. Might you want to shoot an image to figure out if they got a tumor? Maybe, but only if they've got all these other symptoms that are obvious red flags of what? Cancer, right? So can you not, by history alone, just asking the patient, rule out 99% of why you would ever need to take a film of somebody? Can you not, just by asking them and having a conversation with them, say, did you fall off a ladder? Nope. Okay, do you have any of these symptoms? This. Anything that I know to be a massive, ominous red flag for a cancer diagnosis? Nope, no. I just have this and this and this. Okay, can I rule out the need to do dangerous experimental imaging on someone's body? Yeah, in about 30 seconds. Why don't doctors do that? Why don't doctors do that? Not taught to do that. Threat of suing. But there's a lot of money in imaging centers. I'm telling you, there's a lot of money. It might be CYA, but if I'm a doctor, I'm a smart doctor, and I can ask, hey, did you fall off a ladder? Did you get kicked by a horse? Did somebody beat you over the head? No? Okay, no trauma. Boom, check that box. Next, do you have this? Nope. Okay, check that box. We don't need to do ionizing radiation on you. We don't need to put you through a big giant Tesla 3 magnet. We don't need to do an MRI CAT scan with radioactive isotope injected into your veins with half your day gone and a bill for the radiologist and the radiology department and the anesthesia and all the other crap you're going to need. We need imaging for a condition is for 3 things: cover their ass and to rape you dry. That's it. Okay. Oh, it's a gold standard first line of treatment for everything, and it results in nothing, which is why you will have people come in with stacks of MRIs, CAT scans, and x-rays, and they'll say, well, great, what did they all say? Oh, it's normal. Been taking x-rays, CAT scans, and blood labs and all this crap for 25 years, and everything's normal? It's crazy. Number 91, you have to have a C-section. You ran out of amniotic fluid, your placenta's old, and it stopped pumping blood like it should. I don't even know. I had to have them tell me it 4 or 5 times because I couldn't believe. I said, your doctor told you this. Yep. Ran out of amniotic fluid. Your placenta's old. How old is your placenta? This one obviously was retired. This one was ready. They needed to upgrade their placenta hardware. It stopped pumping blood like it should. So once again, if you really read into this, what are they telling you? Could have been. I forget who this was. I don't remember. But what they're really saying is your body is stupid. You didn't make enough amniotic fluid. The placenta's aging too fast. And it just doesn't pump blood. Your body, your heart, your blood vessel, your body's stupid. Kind of like all the stuff that you hear about your body attacking itself. They call it autoimmune diseases. Yeah, your body's attacking itself. Think of that statement. I did a whole class on this. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of autoimmune conditions. And they're coming up with new ones every year. Probably every day. Eventually the goal with the autoimmune conditions is so that every single cell in your body, every differentiated cell, there'll be an autoimmune disease that they can tack on as being the cause for what you're experiencing. So you could have 50 or 60 different autoimmune conditions all at once. That's the goal. Because your body, on that premise, the goal is for you to be sick in every cell of your body, and the premise of it is that your body is too stupid to fix anything. That's the basic bottom line, if you really think about it, with autoimmune conditions. Your body's attacking its own tissues. The question to ask yourself is, why is your body attacking its own tissues? Is it really attacking your own tissues? No. But what would make it attack its own tissues? Oh, I don't know if there was something toxic within your tissues, perhaps. People don't think. Okay, number 92. Oh, I love this one. We can't do surgery on you or your tumor until we fatten you up. You have to eat sugar, Hostess cakes, Dr. Pepper. I've heard that in so many different iterations. This was a grandma. I mean, she'd probably been cut and diced and spliced half a dozen times. But yeah, that's what they told her. Yep, absolutely. You ready for a commercial break, Lauren? Everybody give Lauren a round of applause. Get her on up here. Yay, yay.
Okay, so this patient wrote, before Divine Design, I found myself with extreme pain and swelling on my right side. When I asked my doctor at the time about it, he said that it sounded like my gallbladder and that he wanted me to get a scan that costs about $800 and then we would consider gallbladder removal surgery. He told me how his family had their entire gallbladders removed and they are just fine and just watch what they eat now. After having surgery thrown in my face, I started at Divine Design, and after around 12 weeks, my gallbladder pain and swelling has drastically reduced to a 1 to 2 on the pain scale. Divine Design saved me $800, and most importantly, my gallbladder.
Wow. Hallelujah. Well, and what they don't tell you is you get your gallbladder out, and then here comes your hysterectomy, and then here comes your thyroid problems. And then here comes your tonsil. Well, they probably won't take your tonsils at that point, but there goes your gallbladder. There goes they'll probably, take your appendix while they're in there. Why not? It's just a vestigial organ left over from 4.6 billion years of evolution with lightning hitting a mud puddle 13.8 billion years ago when the earth was formed from everything colliding at the speed of light and forming nothing out of something. And you know what I mean? Next. They just talk out of both sides of their butts, and it's just getting really old. The more you know, the more you know. All you got to do is look at what's in the stuff of MMR, chickenpox, whatever. Just look at what's in it. You'd go to prison for putting that in, for feeding your kid that. You'd go to prison. But you put it in their veins, and you're a pediatrician. Next. Watching people take off their masks because a judge said they could after hearing for 2 years how masks were about health and not compliance. Yep. Let that sink in, huh? The people most upset about the mask mandate being struck down are vaccinated and boosted. The shots work, right? I can't believe, I'm just sitting here having flashbacks of when we first started doing Lies Doctors Tell. What was the date on that? It was March 16th of 2020. It's like 4 days after everything, after March 13th is when it all dropped, 2020. And here we are, almost 2.5 years later. And I still see people bowing down to this nonsense. Stuff that doesn't even make physiological sense, doesn't make logical sense, and most assuredly is not biblical. None of it. Next. When you're going to get toxic chemicals injected in your body to keep you healthy. What's the name of this movie? Dumb and Dumber. There you go. So that's the genius of this meme. You have to know the movie, right? And the look on their faces. Oh, and this looks like Boris, what's his face? Johnson? I mean, they're just laughing at us. They're literally laughing at us the whole time. Dude with the worst haircut in the history of the world runs a country. Unbelievable. And what was the meme? I saw one meme. Oh my God, it's one of my favorite memes of all time. And it's like, who would have thought that the guy trying to kill everyone on Earth would speak like Kermit the Frog and wear pastel sweaters? It's one of my... we need to just have a meme party one day. Just come here and share memes. Next. The CDC now recommends a healthy diet, exercise, getting enough sleep, drinking plenty of water, getting sunshine, and supplementing with vitamins to bolster your immune health. Just kidding. No, they don't. You thought I was serious. Ha ha ha. Next. Okay, here we go. So we just got like 4 or 5 more. Hey, I'm going to be right on time. Look at this. You're just a bleeding child. Oh, you're just a bleeding child. Okay, so this was a woman who had 2 or 3 surgeries. I think it was 2. Yeah, she'd had 2 surgeries on her nose to stop nosebleeds. Neither one worked. What's the problem with a nosebleed? What is happening? Think of the mechanism of a nosebleed. Why would a nosebleed just happen? Huh? What pressure of what? It's a pressure release, she said. It's pressure of what? Arteries. Well, what's happening though? Why is your nose bleeding? Why is a sensitive mucous membrane? Why would it break down and bleed? Huh?
It's thin.
Yeah, but why would it be thin? You're on the right track. She's on the right track. Why would it be thin? Think of all of the same diseases. Think of, is a stroke and a nosebleed related in any way? Are hemorrhoids and a nosebleed and a stroke related in any way? Are varicose veins and a nosebleed and stroke and abdominal aortic aneurysm and varicose veins, Are those related in any way? How are they related? Nutrition, but how are they related? Thinning of your blood vessels. Thinning of your veins. Your veins are made of what you ate. Yes or yes? Yes. So if your nose is bleeding, you have a subclinical condition, what used to be called scurvy, because your blood vessels are breaking down. How do we get rid of scurvy? People figured out, vitamin C, which has very little to do with your immune system. Vitamin C is how you fix scurvy, which is why the pirates, not the pirates, but the English sailors were called limeys because they had vitamin C on their ships. You get into a skirmish and these guys bleed, but these guys don't. You're going to figure out why these guys don't bleed. Or wait, these guys bleed, these guys don't. You're going to figure out why these guys over here on this ship don't bleed real fast. That's how scurvy was figured out. They would be on ships for long journeys. They would have no access to fruits or vitamin C sources, whatever. And so these guys get really, really sick. Their teeth start falling out. They'd have hemorrhoids. They'd have varicose veins. They'd have all these breakdown of blood vessels in the body, right? That was scurvy, what used to be called scurvy. Well, you hardly see that anymore. We call it something different. We call it strokes. We call it hemorrhoids. We call it, you're not getting slashed on a pirate ship anymore by a rapier and a dagger. You're getting pink toothbrush syndrome. See? And you're getting stuff like this. You're getting stuff like weird bloody noses that nobody can explain. And so they just go in and cauterize your nose, or you have 2 expensive surgeries that don't work. It's a simple nutritional problem. But people would be freaked out. Why? Because they've got bright red blood falling out of their face. So would they go screaming into the emergency room? Hell yeah, you bet they would. 94. You're just a bleeding child. Then the doctor told her, you're just a bleeding child. You're just a bleeding child. That's just normal. Children just bleed. Ha! I love this one. Your right thumb is not connected to your left thumb. So this guy was sent home from work because his hand pain was so bad. And he went, because I think it was like a work comp thing or something like that. So they forced him, they made him go to a walk-in clinic. Hands were hurting so bad. So the doctor said, your right thumb's not connected to your left thumb. And he said, I'm doing the same thing with both hands. What do you mean they're not connected? Tell me, is my right thumb connected to my left thumb? Are these connected? How could a doctor, an adult trained physician, your right thumb is not connected to your left thumb. Even the patient here said, what do you mean? I do the same stuff at work all day long with both my hands. Of course they're connected. And the doctor made him feel like an idiot. Oh, I'm telling you. The stuff they get away with, it's unbelievable. Okay, number 95. We're almost, just 2 more. Okay, yeah, because, part 6 of this is going to be epic. I just can't put too much in it because you see, like we already went an hour just on 20 things, 25 things. 95, we have to look at your kidney labs to make sure they're healthy enough, since we're going to have to put you on another heart drug. So we have to look at your kidney labs to make sure they're healthy enough, since we're going to have to put you on another heart drug. I said, hold on. Say that again. Tell me what the doctor told you again. Say it again. Okay, repeat it. People are going to love this one. Keep going. So they have to draw your blood. Think of the stupidity of this. Think of how it's so backwards. So they're going to have to draw blood and look at your kidney labs to get a baseline, and then they're going to have to make sure that you're healthy enough. Since we're going to have to put you on, they're already saying we're going to have to put you on another heart drug. How do they know that? But when we put you on the heart drug, it's going to cause kidney problems. So we're going to have to take blood later too to make sure that we're not killing you too fast with the new poison that we're putting you on that's obviously not going to affect your heart and the original problem. It's unbelievable. So basically what they're saying there is we have to see if your kidneys can handle the poisons that we're trying to kill you with. That's basically what that says. You have to read between the lines, You have to look at what they're not saying sometimes. All right, number 96. And with this, think of your questions, and I want to hear stuff from you guys about, yeah, I've heard, my parents heard this, my sister heard this one time. Okay, this is my favorite. I was told this, and I was stunned. Because, and let's go back, let's talk about the rice thing. You guys know about the rice thing, right? Rest, ice, compress, and elevate. Of course, if anybody gets an injury, that's the first thing they do. They rest it, they ice it, they compress it, and they elevate it. Okay? I'm going to teach you tonight, and you'll never forget it, why that is completely wrong, and whoever came up with that wants you sicker than healthier. Here goes. Ready? I'll tell you the rest, ice, compress, elevate thing, and I'll tell you where this came from. Because it had me, I cried for days. I would ask people, have you ever heard anything like this? Oh my God, explain this to me. How would this work? How would this even work? So here's the rest, ice, compress, elevate. When your body's injured, do you want blood flow to go to that area to fix it, or do you want blood flow to shut off to that area and not fix it? You want blood flow to go to the area, right? Okay, so if you rest, say you hurt yourself. Now, hold on, this is the caveat. This only applies to non-horribly traumatic emergencies, which is 99.999% of everything you're ever going to see in your life, right? Very seldomly will someone's leg just fall off. In that case, you need to rest it, ice it, compress it, and compress the artery and ice the damn thing so he doesn't bleed out. But you're never going to see that, okay? So let's just talk about like sprained ankles and the crazy stuff that happens to everybody, right? If you rest it, is blood flow going to go to it to fix it or stay away from it to make it worse? It's going to stay away from it to make it worse. Ice. How about ice? Rest, ice, compress, elevate. Ice. Is ice going to draw blood to the area or push blood away? So it's going to make it take longer for you to get better, correct? Compression. Well, if you push on it, is it going to push blood out or is it going to bring blood to it? It's going to push blood out. And then you're going to elevate it. Okay, so I've got a hurt leg. I'm resting it. Now I've got ice on it. I'm compressing the damn thing. And then I'm elevating it to keep blood from pumping to it. So is blood going to get to it or stay away from it? I have employed 4 methods right there of making sure that that thing does not heal. Think about it. Now, the only time where the rest, ice, compress, elevate thing works is if you have a major artery cut, you're bleeding out, you're on a hill 14,000 feet high, and you don't have an ambulance, and your leg is twisted around the wrong way, and you can't get the ski boot off if it swells up, if your leg swells up. So you might want to pack some ice around the thing, your boot, to keep the blood from just pooling in your boot, right? So there are times, but massive traumatic injury, that's not what we're talking about. And that is specifically not what we're talking about in this instance, where a medical staff member of an office, does that all make sense though? So if you want stuff to get to it and fix it, you want to get blood to it, let your blood, life is in the what? Blood. So if I'm employing 4 methods of making sure blood does not get there, life will not get there, and that thing will not heal. I can't tell you the number of times people come in here, yeah, I've got this old ankle injury. I ice it every day. There's your problem. Problem solved. What? Put heat on it. Why are you icing it? What do you mean? They told me to ice it. I know. They're stupid. Get rid of the ice. See, it's just simple physics. It's simple logic, and it's simple physiology. So, get rid of the ice, get rid of the stuff. So, in this specific instance, here we go. Ready? So, she's medical office staff, and she came in and she said, this is just recently, this was a few months ago, and she said a coworker of hers was a grandma, and she had a 7-year-old grandson, right? And he got the vaccine, the clot shot, experimental death jab at a 7-year-old. And his testicles swelled 2 days later. Those of you who know and who are aware of what's out there, like that's a common thing. Germ cell, ovaries and testicles. That's what they're going for. So his testicles swelled up for 2 days later. So treatment. Now picture in your mind a 7-year-old, poor thing, just went and got a death jab. That's where I went. I was like 2 days straight. I'm like, how's that going to work? Who's going to hold him down? And who's going to ice it? And then how do you... slap an ice pack in there. What do? Make the kid hold still, right? And your doctor, and she was telling me this, she's on the table, she's telling me that, and I about fell out. I said, who is icing it and who is elevating it? And how you get the kid to stay still, just ice it and elevate it. That's the best advice the doctor gave her with a swollen testicle. And she said, yeah. You were standing right there when he said it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was right there. I saw the kid. Say all of that one more time. This is the best one ever. I can't believe it. Isn't that crazy? Just ice it and elevate it. That's the best you got? Yep. I tell you, our competition, we don't need to worry. We are geniuses. Oh, and speak of that, I went to a seminar this last weekend in closing, think of your questions and stuff, and we'll sign off here. We got the freebies. I went to a seminar over the weekend in Mississippi, and I found out, I just realized it was an extremity adjusting thing, and I found out that I guess I had never thought of it before, because I thought most chiropractors probably understand that hips and knees and ankles and toes and shoulders and elbows and wrists and hands and necks and skull bones and noses and ears and organs and other things can be adjusted. I forgot that most people don't adjust, most chiropractors don't adjust anything but neck and back. Well, I found out this weekend that it's less than about 2% of chiropractors actually touch anything other than a neck or a back. Wow. Less than 2%. So, moral of the story is, we do a lot of cool stuff here. We do a lot of stuff, and I didn't know how far ahead of most of it that we are, and we're blessed, and God's prepared us to be able to handle a lot of people and to help a lot of people. So hopefully this has kind of clued you guys in on some of the malarkey and some of the lunacy that your relatives, your friends, your family, your coworkers, people at church, they've heard some or all of these. I hope they haven't heard all of them, but they've heard some of them. And that means that you need to educate them. You need to become educated yourself, because this is what's coming for you. And if it's not coming for you, it's coming for your moms and your dads and your kids. It's coming for your aunts and your uncles and your cousins, because in my own family, I know. You go hang out long enough with some people, hey, how'd that doctor appointment go? You'll hear these. You'll hear these. He's never going to walk. He's never going to talk. Oh, he's got to get this blood lab done. He's got to do this. He's got to get radioactive this and radioactive that and blah, blah, blah. And they're going to cut this and splice this. And it's totally safe. You need to know how to get out of the system. We've done it. We've done it with a lot of people. Get out of the system before they come for you with the skull guns and the butt swabs and all the other crazy stuff. And, your testicle gets swollen up. They're going to tell you this. Ice it and elevate it. Guess what? I'll save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. We will build an alternative, outside, completely different system, and your name will never go into a Medicare database. Heck yeah. You will never, ever see us sharing your information with a government entity. It's not going to happen. But you go and you get a swollen testicle, there's a CPT code, and there's an ICD-10 code for a swollen testicle. You know what? There are also there are also ICD-10 codes for vaccine injury. Wow. They'll tell you that. But when we talk about the vaccine class, I spell all this out, and I tell you, here's silver bullets. But is the insurance covering it? I have no. That's a good question. I don't know. See, I don't deal with insurance. I just know that the codes are there. I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. I don't know. I mean, I could go right now in this town to 20 different pharmacies and get 50 different COVID shots for free. That should tell you something. They wouldn't ask a question at all. I could probably just walk in, roll up my sleeve. They probably wouldn't even ask my name.
Some guy in Germany did it.
Yeah, it's 100. Yeah.
Selling the cards.
Right.
He was legitimate.
I heard about that. Absolutely, I heard about that. So like, if something's free to that degree, you're telling me it's good for you, you're out of your mind. You are out of your mind. You are the one that needs to have your skull examined. If you think that. You can't mail a letter across this town for less than 50 cents, and you're going to get high-level technology from a company that loves you for free, from 50 different companies, from 50 different, pharmacies in this city alone, and you think they love you that much? You're nuts.
It's not just free, they're paying you to do it.
Oh yeah, it's not free. Yeah, right. You're right. Absolutely. I forgot. How easily did I forget 2 years ago when you could get Krispy Kreme and free beer and free pizza just for rolling up your sleeve. They'll pay you to do it. Employers are giving incentives to get it because the government's printing massive amounts of money and giving it to the companies to dole out to their employees. They look like the benefactors. And then on the backside, everybody runs into dock in the boxes, emergency rooms, and hospitals back into the system that they're trying to run away from by getting the shot. It's beautiful.
Insurance premiums for unvaxxed.
Mm-hmm. Raising insurance premiums for unvaccinated people. Yep. And at some point, when the lawsuits start up and people start going in and say, oh, well, I got damaged. Well, nobody made you do it. They've got you. They've got your consent. You rolled up your sleeve. That's it. I mean, some of the things that are just getting ready to come. I mean, we've been saying this for 2 years. We've been telling people, hey, here's what's going on. I mean, it's going to be shocking. There's already 700 something odd, athletes that have died out of nowhere, and they're blaming, rising ocean waters. Oh my God. Anyway, all right, I could preach on this all day long. I've done it for the last 2 years. Questions? Thoughts? Cries of outrage? Cries of outrage.
I would just like to defend Boris Johnson.
You'd like to defend Boris Johnson?
Saying it.
Okay. Yeah, Jonathan loves Bojo. Boris Johnson. You like his hairdo? He looks like Dumb and Dumber. He looks like Jeff Daniels. It's funny. I mean, it's almost like they're laughing at us. They're just like, how could that dude run well, but we're no better, right? You got Sleepy Joe at the helm. That's unbelievable. All right, anything else? Questions, thoughts, cries of outrage? You guys have worked in, how many others do we have? We've got some medical people in here. Did any of these look familiar, Kelly?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Probably all of them.
Yeah? How about you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not lying, am I?
You're not.
Most of these came from patients, most of them being medical people. And I thought, you know what, this is too good. I just need to catalog these and put these for posterity to prove. Go back to that first slide, if you can, Jonathan. I just need to put it in posterity so that it's like kind of like why we do all the testimonials. The one with the ABCD, yeah. Why we do all the testimonials, not only to celebrate with you, but to prepare in the future for when people come against us. So we have documented proof of everything. So we document the lunacy of what your healthcare believes to prove the inaccuracy of the statements as documented by thousands of recorded and written testimonials, and then to echo the sentiments of our patients, many of whom are medical professionals who'd be persecuted for if they came out and said this, and if they said it to anybody else. I'm presenting it without their names or faces or anything like that. But if they said this to people on Facebook, like if they just posted, yeah, guess what one of the doctors said at the clinic today, they'd catch hell for it. And then, of course, to illustrate, to save your friends and family a whole lot of money, time, energy, and literally pounds of flesh, because they will rip you apart and they will do a COVID jab before they do it. So to prepare you to hear the same. So that's why we're doing it. So hopefully, come up with some lists for me for part 6, part 7, part 8. All right.
Have you seen the new eye drop that's out?
No.
So you don't have to use readers. It fixes your vision close up.
A new eye drop
Think about that.
that fixes your vision
Think about that.
close up. Wow. So it changes your lens and your cornea.
Your eyes focused on, yeah, think about that.
It changes the shape of your lens, a drug that then refracts the light at different angles to be able to read up close. A drop
Without glasses.
without glasses.
And people are putting this in.
Wow.
So you can't see far off.
Wow.
You probably won't see it all.
Wow. Because you do optic, you're an optician in what?
I'm in opticals now.
Opticals, what you call it. Yeah, I just couldn't think of. So yeah, you know all about the glasses and the eye drops that make you see up close.
Patients come in last week asking for those eye drops.
You had 3 patients come in last week asking for those. Why? Are they advertised on TV?
Yeah.
Of course. That's the only way they would know about it.
You're crazy if you think
Ask your doctor.
You're crazy.
Well, I wouldn't know there was a worldwide scamdemic unless it was on TV for the last 2.5 years. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't have TV. I got rid of my TV in '94. I'll never have one in my house, and there will most certainly never be tied up to cable or Disney Plus or CNN Plus. But anyway, yeah.
They're gone.
Kill your TV. No!
Yeah, they cancel after
Yeah, I know. All right, questions, thoughts? Sadrita, what did you learn?
Oh my, a lot.
Or some of these, what looked familiar to you?
Well, I was very, I have 5 siblings and have five brothers and 1 sister. And they all have to have sleep apnea machines. They all have CPAPs. And I got
5 brothers and 1 sister?
Mm-hmm.
So
And the
6.
last 2, me and my younger brother, haven't gotten one yet because we're not getting to that age yet. And I just thought, what are the odds of all of them and their spouses having to need a CPAP? It's like it
12
came
people?
down from, brother, okay, you better get checked. I've got sleep apnea. And then and it goes on down.
12 people in your family have CPAPs.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
And so that really raised a flag. It's like, I'm not getting one.
Does
So,
nobody wake up to this and say, well, this is
well, I
weird?
am now going to say something. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So it was good.
Man. The spouses, your siblings, and all their spouses.
Spouses have to have one too. Because they got checked.
So 2 of them are running because they got checked. So 2 of them are running in the same bed.
Yeah.
That's got to sound like,
They can't cuddle.
yeah,
They don't feel left out.
that's got to sound like you're,
Very sad. Yeah.
that's got to sound like your, your a loud neighbor at the RV park left his generator on all night or something. Unbelievable. Wow. That's something for you to work on. Clue them into all this. Yeah, because what were the chances of finishing up with that patient who was coming off a CPAP machine for the first time in years, finishing up with him and walking into my next patient and it being a respiratory therapist, and her spilling the beans on that, and me telling her, this guy just got rid of a CPAP machine. He doesn't have to. He can go camping with his kids, and he can cuddle with his wife, and he can roll over for the first time in years. And you're telling me that it's all fake. And she said, yep, pretty much. And I do it for a living. Can I write that down? Sure. Yeah, it's crazy. Anything from you? Yeah? I'll let you comment. Okay, good. Anything else? Let's get out of here. Ooh, good time. Dr. Brett Spradlin, what's the next date? Sorry. May 9th. May 9th, 2 weeks. We're doing the most evil substance on earth. And it is not a drug. It's something that you have in your house. It's something you have readily accessible to you. Your kids have access to it. It's at their school. It's pretty much at any table you sit down at. And you might want to know about this, because if you know about this, you can change the history of your family. You change your ancestry. You can change your downline. You can change everything if you know about this. But if you don't know about this, you'll just go on down the same road that everybody else is going down. So thank you. May 9th, most evil substance on earth, Dr. Brett Spradlin, Divine Design Natural Health. See you in 2 weeks. You win.